Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Rant Squad. I am the Water Dog. This is
Clint Jordan.
And Brendan is on hiatus. He's on a date night. Woo! That son of a gun.
I know. Leaving us to hang high and dry.
On a date night.
Pitiful. It's like he's married or something.
Yeah, something like that. People.
I know. What can we do?
So we're going to be doing our year review at this particular point. We're just going to tell you what we think is going to happen. Based on what's happened so far this year, what's going to happen at the end of the year, end of the season awards and that type of thing. We're going to be going through MVPs and the Rookie of the Year and Coach of the Year stuff. That's kind of what we got. If you look right up here, brother, you're looking at what Brendan thinks is going to take place. He's thinking offensive MVP, Derrick Henry, defensive MVP, TJ Watt, Coach of the Year, Dan Quinn, and Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels. And so between us now, we're going to get started with Mr. Clinton, who is your offensive MVP.
Man, it was a real tough decision. You know, I know typically you're looking at the quarterback position, but I think this week proved it again. It's Saquon Barkley for me. The dude is running absolutely rampant in a game where the offense looked kind of sluggish against Carolina. He pulled through, had over 100 yards. He's going to have a very good opportunity to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record, and he's going to have the opportunity to do it against the Giants. That's why I think they'll go ahead and let him have the opportunity. Personally, I would too. I mean, week 18, it'll be against the Giants. As long as he averages, I think it's 100. It's like 100 yards. It's not crazy. It's not like you need 150, 160 yard games.
Can you do it in 16 games, or do you think it's going to take to 17?
He can do it in 16. I don't think he will.
Because I think it might mean more if he can do it in 16.
That would be pretty cool. But I think he'd have to have two pretty big games. He'd have to have like two more 150 plus. I'd have to look at the math, but he can do it. I don't know if he'll get there in 16. It would be really cool to see. I agree, and he would surpass what Adrian Pearson when he almost broke it back in his MVP season. But I like Saquon. I mean, I just think it is. Unfortunately, it probably still might go to Josh Allen, who has played lights out. There's no doubt about it. I mean, those are the two guys to me. I like Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's not an MVP to me because Derrick Henry, he doesn't consistently take over every game. Every game, Saquon is in there just going. I mean, even when he doesn't have touchdowns, he's got the 100 yards. Sunday, they did a 2-point conversion, and they didn't even line up for the tush push. They had it for 1 yard line. They said, no, we're going to give it to Saquon. They are starting to trust him. They know that he is a great option, and it's what he is.
Water Dog's going to admit he was wrong. I said at the beginning of the year, man, I just don't trust Kellen more to run that offense, and especially to run, when you've got Saquon Barkley, because he had Ezekiel Elliott all those years and just did not utilize him those last several years. And Ezekiel was still able to do things, yes. and they misused him so much. And I'll tell you what, they're not misusing him now. And I agree with you 100%. Hit Saquon Barkley, man.
Absolutely,
he is the MVP of this season, and I can't say anything more than what you've already said. I just think he's that good. I think he's played that well. I think he's given Philadelphia a real shot at winning the Super Bowl this year.
Absolutely.
And so things are going to come down to it, man. I mean, there's going to be a couple of games coming up where, between Detroit and Philly, well, who's going to get there? It's going to Minnesota too,
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Saquon Barkley, that's the guy. Who you got for your defensive MVP?
So I had a tough time with this one just because I think I know who we all pretty much agree it is. But one that I think you have to look at is the defensive MVP doesn't always go to a player that makes the playoffs. That's kind of like the offensive player of the year. It doesn't always go like J.J. Watt for me. I think two of his 3 years, they didn't make the playoffs when he won Defensive Player of the Year. I'd have to go back and look. I know one for sure, which was the year he almost won MVP. He went head-to-head with Aaron Rodgers. I think if you're looking and you want to go, I want to pick a playoff team route, it's TJ Watt. I mean, the dude just wrecks every single game. But I also really like Trey Henderson from the Bengals, who leads the league in sacks. And then one of the surprise, it's going to sound like a homer pick, but it really isn't. It's Zach Bond of the Eagles. Has come out of nowhere, free agent. Nobody thought he could play middle linebacker. He's all over. He's a leading fantasy linebacker. Just really impressive. Every time I watch the game, I know a lot of people don't know him. That's why he's not gonna get those. But I've been so impressed with how he has just commanded that Eagles defense. But for namesake, I just don't see anybody other than TJ Watt winning this award.
Man, we're on the same page here. I'm going TJ Watt. Brendan's going TJ Watt. I've been saying TJ Watt all year. He's just the difference maker for the Pittsburgh defense. Mm-hmm. And it's like when they need a play, it doesn't show up in stats. Because if you're looking at TJ Watt's stats, if you're looking at tackles, sacks,
No.
all that stuff. But if you're just looking at plays,
Oh.
the plays
It's
that
magical.
he,
Yep.
yeah, that's the thing. And the plays that help you win games, the plays that change the possession,
Yep.
the plays that, change the side of the field that you're going to be on. Those type of things that he's been doing all year long. And there's no doubt about it. And it's TJ Watt.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty, brother. Here comes to me what I think is the toughest one to choose.
Yep.
By far and away, and that's Coach of the Year. As of right now, who's your Coach of the Year?
For one decision, it's Mike Tomlin. And everybody's like, oh, why is he Coach? For him to have the cojones to at 4-2 pull Justin Fields and say, no, I've got to see Russell Wilson. We initially brought him in to start. We got to see what we have. And it's been the right decision. It's been the offense flows more. It's got more upside. I think Justin Fields is still a good quarterback, and he can come in. And if they get in a pinch and Russell Wilson gets hurt, they're going to be fine. And he owned that decision that week. He said, this is mine. And it was the right call. I've just been impressed with the Steelers. They've lost a couple of tight ones, like the snow game, and then they lost to the Cowboys earlier in the year. But just the way that team has come, because I don't think they're one of the most talented teams in the NFL. I really don't. I mean, yeah, they've got the best defensive player. Offense, they don't have a top 10 running back. They don't have a top 10 offensive line. They don't have a top 10 receiving core. They've got a good tight end. But the way Tomlin is just a great motivator of men like Dan Campbell. And I'm just impressed. When you look at that roster and what he's working with, it's impressive that they are in the position that they are.
I thought about him, because at the beginning of the year I was talking about the Steelers being the team being the playoffs, and I said if they ever get Russell Wilson to be their starting quarterback, I think it's a team that can really change its trajectory, not to just make the playoffs, but to actually do something in the playoffs, which I think that they're still going to be able to do. We're going to find out a heck of a lot more this week, though. That's a tough game. That's going to be a game right there, between them and Philadelphia. But there's not just him. There's just so many good coaching things that have taken place this year. You can go to Dan Campbell, and you can say over there in Detroit, man, the job that he's just done. You know what I'm saying? You can say LaFleur over there in Green Bay. I think that he's done an outstanding job over there. It's just there's a lot of really good. Andy Reid, which is just so underappreciated. Yeah. You don't get that many one score wins without coaching it, and it's just situational football.
Yeah. Sean Payton has turned around the Broncos. Jim Harbaugh's turned around the Chargers. There's a lot of great candidates this year. It's a really tough year to pick.
But I'm going to go Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin O'Connell has done the best job this year overall with the team. If you look at the defense, in all honesty, if you did play fantasy football, I doubt you could name a defensive starter for the Minnesota Vikings.
No, I only know one, Harrison Smith.
Okay, and who's been around for 15 years. Okay, and he's been around that long, right?
Yep.
Okay, and so Justin Jefferson, right? And but then to bring in Sam Darnold, and then to have Sam Darnold play the way that Sam Darnold has played.
And this last month he looked like how he looked the first. He kind of had a little dud there in the middle. I think the team started to get a little bit of tape on him. But he's really I think he's got 11 touchdowns, no picks over the last 3 or 4 games. He's really starting to lock back in.
They found Justin Jefferson again.
That's true too. That helps. And Jordan Addison looks great. That's what's crazy.
And they got T.J. Hawkinson back.
Aaron Jones.
So now that you've got T.J. Hawkinson back into the lineup, I think that's helped change the trajectory of them offensively.
Yeah, you can't double coverage.
Right, and so I just think O'Connell, I've always been an O'Connell fan since he's come into the league in the head coach position, and I just think that he's done an outstanding job.
Absolutely.
I got to go with O'Connell. All righty. Rookie of the Year. Where anyone goes, Jaden Daniels. Who you got?
So this is another one where I know who I think it is. It's Brock Bowers. I think there's no doubt about it. He just broke the rookie receptions record. Still got 4 games to go. He's dominant. They know where the ball's going. The dude looks 80 years old. He's got a receding hairline like crazy, but he's just, as a rookie tight end to come in. Laporta caught touchdowns last year, but Laporta wasn't dominant. To me, Brock Bowers looks like George Kittle. Just goes out there, dominates. He pass blocks, he run blocks, and he just catches everything in sight. in my opinion, he is the best rookie in the NFL, but due to it being a quarterback-driven league, I agree with Brennan. I do think Jaden Daniels will end up winning it, but if it was up to me, it would 100% be
Well, I'm putting
Bowers.
you down for Brock Bowers because you are correct. And Brock Bowers is going to win it. I think he's going to win it.
That would be
I
exciting.
think because Jaden Daniels right now has been on the tailspin, and I don't think the Redskins are going to win as many games here in these next 4 weeks.
It's a big week coming off the bye this week.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just don't see the Commanders doing that, right?
That's fair.
And I'm with you. Brock Bowers is the best rookie player.
There's
He's probably the best tight end.
Yeah.
You know, because we thought, okay, you know, you got the guy up there, you know, in Buffalo. You got the guy down over there in Detroit, but this guy
he's
in Vegas.
Oh yeah, he's the next 10 years.
Is just a stud, and
Absolutely.
you know you're good when you outshine Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm. And he was those first couple weeks
You
when
know
they were
what I'm
playing together. Yeah.
When you're
Absolutely.
outshining Devontae Adams, who is still a very good wide receiver.
Yeah, he just went for 100 and a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, then you know you're good. So I agree. It's Brock Bowers, man. Folks, that's who we think's going to do it, man. That's who we think are going to make it. That's who the awards we think are going to go to. Who do you think? You can always put that down there right there on our little message board for us. We appreciate you watching, man. We've been the Rant Squad. I'm the Water Dog. This is
Jordan.
And hey, gang, we out of here.